My name is Kara Hudson, and I'm a licensed clinical professional counselor, and I practice in Nampa, Caldwell, Idaho. Today, I'd like to talk with you about an opportunity we have been given as human beings on this planet. This is an opportunity to rethink what is meaningful in our lives. We get to rethink our busyness, our routines, our priorities, our relationships, and our perspectives of who each of us is. This opportunity is not pleasant because it requires growth and change in our view of what life is supposed to look like. When I was a little girl, I grew up with American parents living in Central America. When we first went to El Salvador, it was a picturesque little country that we heard was just like living in Hawaii. It was tropical, gorgeous, with flocks of parakeets flying in one direction over our home every morning and the other direction every evening. However, within 6 months, an explosive civil war broke out, which was later referred to as the Cold War. This beautiful little Salvadorian paradise changed dramatically. It was a bloody civil war in our tiny little beautiful country. The entire country was on lockdown from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., and if somebody stepped foot outside the door, they ran the risk of getting shot. No questions asked by the military, who had enacted a curfew to slow the bloodshed by the guerrillas. And sometimes people died because thieves killed them, or because they were kidnapped and the ransom for them was not paid. And every single day people died, and I often got to see those who had violently perished as I rode in my school bus each morning. This was no longer a beautiful little paradise. It was a bloody war. While this may seem like a harsh way to grow up, this experience brought gifts to my life. First of all, I recognize that every life is sacred. Rich lives, poor lives, those who are unknown, those who are known, young, old. And because anybody could die any day, then we'd better make sure today counts. There may be no tomorrow. So as an 8-year-old, I learned to live as though every day was the very last day of my life, or the lives of every person I encountered. I learned to try really hard to say things the way I wanted to the first time, to live with no regrets. There was another part of the Civil War that I loved. Because of the 6 p.m. curfew, my parents were stuck at home with me every single evening. And since the electrical plant and the water tankers in our neighborhoods were frequently bombed, we didn't have the option of hiding out in our rooms, watching TV, or doing our own individual things. We kids got our parents all to ourselves. We cheerfully enjoyed our captive audience. Our home became our priority and our only priority. It was the only place we were allowed to be. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Our war lasted about 3 years until we moved to another country. And my life drastically changed once again, and my parents became busy again, and I felt very alone. I didn't feel connected any longer to my home or to my family from that point on. Other people have other circumstances that turn their worlds upside down. Individuals lose their jobs they believed were stable. They may have to move in with others due to losing housing. A family member may die. A child with severe medical issues may be born, and all that was once normal can change in a heartbeat. In these times, it may be a combination of all these circumstances. Our resilience is tested to its core. There is a before and an after that experience in our lives, and our perspectives about what is important dramatically changes. This pandemic has turned life upside down. In order to love someone, we can't be near them. We must cover our faces and not be seen. If we really love someone, we make sure we stay isolated and avoid people. It's just not natural to our humanity. We can't touch. So here in a time in our world in which we are collectively having to rethink what life looks like, this is actually an opportunity for us to learn how we can become more healthy in the middle of a crisis. And I'm here to say that there are gifts that we can gain in this era of crisis. We have the opportunity, and some might say we're being forced to do so, to build a more reflective life inside the four walls of our home. This is actually transformational because you see, our home reflects who we are. The home we choose, the furniture we choose, and why, what we put on our walls, how we spend our time, space, and money, how we relate to those inside our home says almost everything about us. And we're getting to have a lot of time inside our homes with ourselves and with our families. And likewise, my body is my being's home. My body is the only body I will have in my entire lifetime. So I can take care of it or I can reject it, but it's the only lifetime, and this is the only body I will have in this lifetime. And at this time, this may be an opportunity to build my relationship to my own being's home, my body. So I'm going to give you a crash course on the 4 intertwined key elements of who I am. I have a right brain. This is a very illogical, emotional, colorful, musical, creative part of myself. I refer to it as my heart, which is actually a cultural term. In other ancient cultures, some refer to their seat of their emotion as their liver. But somehow I love you with all my liver doesn't ring the same in our culture, so we'll stick to the term heart. I can also refer to this part of my being as my inner child. It refers to the historical feeling I have for specific situations or people or ourselves. And these feelings aren't necessarily facts, it's just memory feelings. And then I have a right brain, which also encompasses, back to my right brain, it also encompasses my amygdala, which is a tiny little organ in the middle of my brain that releases different chemicals into my body when memories arise, or I smell something familiar, or I have an emotion. And then we have a left brain, or we refer to it as our mind. Our left brains are supremely logical, goal-oriented, strategic, reasonable, and intellectual. Our left brains identify our personal values. They pragmatically choose the strategies for our lives, and we can refer to our left brain as our inner parent. This is where our supposed tos and our shoulds and our judgmental beliefs may reside. In fact, our minds can be very judgmental of our hearts. Have you ever experienced this? It might sound like this. Stop being so emotional. It's so stupid to cry. I just need to get over being so angry. Just get over it. And all sorts of other lovely statements. Essentially, sometimes we are not very good friends with ourselves. Further, when we think about ourselves this way, sometimes we might shut down emotionally and bury that feeling or thought deep within my body. And of course, my inner battle between my heart and my mind can lead to lethargy, depression, sleeplessness, anxiety, nightmares, loss of libido, all sorts of things. Our relationship with food can also change with stress and inner conflict. Did you ever notice that when you're stressed, it's much easier to grab the unhealthiest food item in the house and eat without stopping until the container is empty? It's not just you. Our stress hormones cause that phenomenon. And then we get mad at ourselves and our organs become inflamed and we feel more lethargic and we start saying mean things to ourselves and a vicious cycle begins. And does that sound familiar to you? It does to most of us. And that's kind of leading to that third part of ourselves. So we've got the right brain, the left brain, and now we've got our bodies. And it's all a part of our bodies. But in our bodies, I'm referring to as everything outside of our brain for the most part. So today it's going to be my goal for you to learn how incredible your body is and how capable it is to help your mind and your heart become friends with only good side effects. When your mind and heart are in conflict, the stress typically displays itself in my body. The conflict between my mind and my heart may create some pretty serious healthy physical issues that I may struggle with. For example, gastrointestinal issues, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, gastritis, ulcers may be connected to inner conflict. Migraines, other types of headaches can stem from a lack of peace within. Tightness in our muscles around our bodies demonstrate anxiety. Heart issues are connected to trauma in our lives and the overactivity of the sympathetic nervous system. That's the part of us we refer to as the fight, flight, or freeze phenomenon. Many of us struggle with those three issues these days, fight, flight, or freeze. And when these parts of us are activated, all of our organs stop to function as they're supposed to. And instead, all of our blood rushes to our limbs so we can escape the dinosaurs, speaking from an evolutionary perspective. It is supremely important to find ways to help our bodies recover that parasympathetic nervous system response in which our organs resume their healthy functioning and we can calm ourselves down. So I'm actually going to give you a trick right now. It's peer-reviewed and it came from a lot of research to regaining your parasympathetic nervous system response when we feel we are in a fight, flight, or freeze mode. It's called the alternate nostril breathing technique. Did you know that our nostrils take turns breathing? Each nostril is assigned to either the sympathetic or the parasympathetic nervous system. And when they take turns, it keeps life in balance. You will find when you are stressed, you will inhale and exhale only out of one nostril. Isn't that weird? So in order to force your own body to calm down, you can do this technique. So essentially, you cover one nostril, Inhale deeply. Cover the other nostril and exhale. And then inhale deeply. Cover the other nostril and exhale. And you're going to do that for 3 to 5 minutes, the whole time, 3 to 5 minutes, and look at a clock. Make sure you don't go less than 3 minutes. And what you're going to find is at the end of those 3 to 5 minutes, and within 10 minutes, your whole body is going to go, and you're going to feel very, very sleepy. It's the weirdest thing, but it works. And they found that this technique functions more effectively than any anti-anxiety medication we presently have without side effects. So if you do it 3 times a day and it lasts 3 to 5 hours, you're good to go. Your body is meant to help your heart and mind calm itself. This is why it is supremely important to find ways to connect to our bodies in order to calm our right and left brains. Now, you have a lizard brain in the back of your brain that assures that your heart is beating. You inhale and exhale unconsciously. Your kidney and liver filter your body's contents. Your pancreas delivers hormones, and I know I'm missing some other organs, but you get the idea. Have you ever heard of your adrenal glands? Your adrenal glands are the glands whose purpose is to help you manage stress well. When they are in tip-top shape, they deliver the chemicals necessary to help you deal with difficult times. We need our adrenal glands to do their job well in order to manage ourselves presently. And if they are not, it will be nearly impossible to calm your right brain. It will be nearly impossible for your left brain to be able to think logically to figure out what solutions are going to be to today's problems. So you're kind of going to be held ransom by the condition of your adrenal glands. So how in the world do we help our adrenal glands do their job and be in excellent shape, you may ask? Quite simply put, nutrition. There are specific foods that will feed your adrenal glands the fuel they need to do their job, which then helps us get off the couch, get out of the kitchen, and have hopes and dreams that continue despite the circumstances. Adrenal glands love healthy food that is not processed. That includes vegetables, fruits, legumes, beans, nuts, and plants that are as close to the plant as possible. Make sure your protein is healthy and as unprocessed as possible. Try it for a week and see what you notice about your emotional health. One perk of this quasi-quarantine is that we have lots of time to look at more recipes and make stuff, freeze it, and have it available for the rest of the week. Your body also provides you with 5 senses which are meant to heal: sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Each sense provides you with a gazillion comfort options that can be healthy if you are proactive about integrating them into your day each day. Your body needs to feel it is looking forward to its day, and a routine of comfort can accomplish good feelings. For example, sight. When I wake up in the morning, I like to see the sunrise. Some people aren't morning people. I happen to be a morning person, so sunrises make my day. Sound. What do I like to hear? I like to go outside of my back porch and turn on our little tiny fountain, and then I like to hear the birds chirping in the neighborhood. Smell. I like the smell of coffee. I love my coffee every morning. Taste, I love my coffee every morning. That takes care of two things. And touch, I love to give my family hugs. I love to pet my dogs. I love to use a really soft, comfy blanket when I watch the news every morning. I like those things. I look forward to each day. But we often have a problem with self-love and being willing to look ourselves and our bodies in the mirror. There are some who believe our bodies don't matter. We are only here temporarily, and all that matters is that we follow our code of behaviors, our callings, our do's and don'ts. The problem is that our bodies do matter, and they need to be a priority if we are to be resilient and make the best decision for each day, because life is short. When we properly care for our bodies, we accept ownership for our existence and build a capacity to make our existence the most meaningful one it can possibly be. And that leads me to the fourth part of yourself, your spirit. When I refer to spirit, I'm referring to that part of you that when you are involved in certain things and interests, it's like it combines your body, your right brain and your left brain, and you are at integrated peace. Art, music, solitude, mountains, camping, books, writing, walks with the dog, hugs, other actions may feed our spirits. It is supremely important to know what feeds our spirits in order to properly fuel the rest of our beings. It's okay if what one person needs to do regularly doesn't do it for you. The key is for you to find those activities that make you feel your life is worthwhile and worth living, that are healthy, especially when we have to stay within our home and avoid others and avoid becoming busy. We have to look in the mirror and rediscover what those things are. And so you have an opportunity right now to rebuild your relationship with yourself. You will not be a healthy, whole person without including your body completely in your healing. This is an opportunity to clean house because you are in it so much of the time. And your body is your home. It is your inner space and it deserves your time. You need to figure out what your body needs for you to remain healthy in this time. I look forward to what's going to occur when you choose to love yourself and all of yourself, mind, heart, body, spirit, and you become protective of yourself, building a firm foundation with a nutritional core, solid sleep, daily movement, filling your life with things that are meaningful to you. Your body and your being is meant to heal itself, and I encourage you to find what that means for you. Thanks for your time today.